Hey guys, AuspiciousAussie here, and welcome to episode 69 of our local to global here with the Canadian Wrestling Coalition. Now, it's probably been about a week, maybe about 8 days since I've actually recorded a local to global episode, so I can't really remember exactly what I was doing in that sort of last episode. And obviously it was the pay-per-view, and I kind of remember that we were trying to sign this guy here. Well, not Rick Young, but Tommy Cornell. Now, obviously, really hoping that his contract will go through because it will be a really big signing. Obviously, the whole C-verse is essentially named after him as well. So bringing a wrestler and I guess a overall personality, considering how good his entertainment skills actually are, it's going to be a bit of a game changer as we go up to big size. And he's still got a lot left in the tank, really does. But we've got a few things to do ourselves. Now, before we get into the first show, or doing the storylines, I guess, we are 1 point away from having 77 popularity in Saskatchewan. So, very, very close to getting the popularity required in 4 of the regions that we need it to go up to big size. And of course, Alberta, only 7 points away. So we're definitely getting very, very close. Anyway, let's advance a little bit. I've actually got Mephisto 3 there. Very interesting. He's the latest man to wear the mask. There we go. Really good basics on him, which I find pretty interesting. Of course, Hio del Mephisto, I think, was the second iteration. If I'm not mistaken. I think he was. I think Mephisto was the first. I hope I'm right there with my C-verse knowledge. Anyway, I'm going to go with a very interesting sort of storyline for the world title. Okay, never mind. There is our opponents, I guess. CWA. You hate to see it. And 21 CW as well. What is the damage? Okay, well, literally no one went in for him. I wonder if we hadn't have actually bidded on him, or like negotiated with him, I wonder if anyone would have actually gone in. I kind of think that they probably wouldn't have. I mean, they're not even considering. He's not even considering CWA, so that's good. It's looking like it's just going to be US Pro, and they're over 200,000 as well. It's a tough and expensive decision, but I think I want to get him purely for the fact that I don't really think that the financial side of things is really going to matter that much to us. So we're probably going to have to go up to maybe 250,000, I would say. Yeah, it's looking pretty iffy here at the moment, actually. We're already about, what, we're 24,000 over their offer. I think it might be because of the pass the torch, which I really do want to get in there because I want him to, I guess, be a similar sort of guy to Angry Gilmore. That is gonna, accept losses from those our younger talent, guys like Jack Jackson in the future. It's not looking good though. This is really bad. Going from 160, we're already at 240, and he's not even negotiating. He still has better offers. Real bad. There's 250. And we're not even close. Oh, we're not actually giving him a... Oh, I might have messed up. See 10%. All right, so one of two offers. I saw the 20% here for the merchandise, and I thought that it was 20% event. Typical mistake. Anyway, try 20%. Even that, it's still technically not giving us the winning bid. So we're gonna have to go even higher. I mean, at this point, I'm just going by 5,000s because it would take an eternity to go by anything lower. And we are still 260,000. Really, I don't understand how that's not sort of getting him around. We are 69,000 above. Of course, we're on episode 69. I think my limit is 300. I'm not going to go above. Even though it is Tommy Cornell, I'm not going to go above 300. I've got to draw the line somewhere. And I think we'll go 301. Let's match their offer, but instead of the 200, we'll do 300. Oh man. Spending this much money really okay. There we go. 280,000, 20% per event as well. Well, I don't even want to try and think about what is 20%. That's like an extra 56,000, is it? Math? Yeah, I think my math is correct there. Oh, that's expensive. Wow. I mean, if US Pro go back in, I mean, we can pretty much, see him later, I think. Ooh, Demeltzer Wade is actually hasn't re-signed yet. We might go in for Demeltzer Wade as well. He's actually really good. 86 color commentary. That's obviously a little bit higher than our current color commentator as well. And then she's actually got really good charisma. I mean, really good entertainment stats overall as well. And of course, she works for CWA, so there we go. Let me actually go back. Is Tommy Cornell, is that exclusive written? It is. Okay, thank God I did that. Just one of those things that you just have to double check when it comes to me. All right, so what's their offer? 52, 300. Let's go 20% merchandise for her. No travel cover. She's getting a bonus from them as well. So we're going to have to essentially do the same. She's still... No, she's retired. Okay, so she wants 65,400. Alright, well there we go. Demeltzer Wade. It should be pretty, like... Too bad she's not still wrestling or not retired. Because we potentially could have used her in our women's division as well. Really good popularity. We might actually... I was kind of thinking about doing a... Because obviously I didn't put the title on the line in that last episode for the women. So I'm thinking about doing a bit of a storyline with Doc Hammond. And essentially, I'll kind of describe it on this first show here. Probably sign Kate Lilly. She looks real good. Anyway, what have we got? LA Star #1. Lifting the locker room, organizing a video game tournament. We got Matt Hocking's hilarious road stories as well. And then we got Darkstein passing on tips on the microphone to his protege, Robin Newman. Of course, one half of Job Squad. All right, let's do some more meddling, because I think we actually had a didn't we have a successful one? Pretty sure we had a successful medal between Kavanagh and Davis. Anyway, we're in Brampton for tonight, of course, the first show of the month, and let's fix up our storylines. Pretty crazy that we're already 10 minutes in, and I have literally done nothing. Anyway. Alright, so for this one, tag titles, we're literally just taking out the Disciples of Darkness there. So it's going to be Young and Wasted taking on the Texas Express. This storyline... I think we're done with this storyline. I think I might actually purely end this one. And then we're going to add something different for a few people in that one as well. This one, I think, can also end. Yes. New Kid on the Block. I'm going to run this one for another month. Because we can do something pretty cool with that storyline as well. The push for Canada... I think this will continue, but I might actually throw Giant Brody back in there as well. Throw him back in the mix. And I think we're going to run with maybe Gorman and Jackson again. So Gorman will get his rematch. And we can maybe do something with yes, I could do maybe like a tag team match or something like that. But of course, next month, we've got the One Ring to Rule Them All tournament. I kind of wanted to have Brody be in that tournament and have a relatively good showing. Nothing too special, but maybe a first round victory. Anyway, we are going to take David Stone out of our world title storyline, the unified world title. And for this month, we are going to throw in a couple of people. And I say couple, we're throwing in Mobstar, and we are throwing in, where is he? Jackpot Jordan. Finally, this month he will gain the leadership to Wall Street Enterprises. And then for obviously the women's going to stay how it is, and of course we've already got Doc Hammond in this angle. So yeah, that kind of leaves us with a few storylines to add, I guess. The first of which is going to be Mutant, Aussie, and I guess we're going to go for Aldous as well. Let's have Fractures, if I can spell properly. Fractures in the Darkness. So it's going to be those three. No real opponents, but a little bit more will be revealed going into these two shows for this episode. Then we've got to do another storyline. We need something for David Stone to do. Maybe David Stone versus Davis at the pay-per-view. That could actually be pretty cool. Not sure what I want to call it, though. Maybe just Stone wants to prove himself. And obviously, to prove yourself, you're gonna want to go for the GOAT. You're gonna want to essentially go for the greatest of all time. And of course, that is Davis Wayne Newton. Is there anything else I need to add? I'm just trying to think, because I did have some sort of rough plans in my mind, but then I also kind of got myself mixed up, because I thought, in my head, I thought that this month was One Ring to Rule Them All, then I thought next month was going to be the sort of normal pay-per-view, if you will. We don't really have anything for High Flying Hawaiian, and I would like to give him a storyline. So you know what? We're gonna use Kavanagh. I know he might not be here for most of the month, but let's use Kavanaugh, and we can give him a loss, and I think I might actually even put him into the One Ring to Rule Them All tournament as well. But Kavanaugh, let's just do Kavanaugh wants to bounce back. He wants to get back to winning ways. It's been a very long time since the guy's gotten sort of a pay-per-view victory. So he wants to bounce back. He's, splitting his time between Japan and Canada, and he thinks that, he's done quite a bit over in Japan, but he hasn't really achieved much while being under contract to the CWC. Alrighty, I'm just sort of looking through. Again, we don't really have anything for guys like Princeton Price. I mean, Spencer Edmund is another one that I did really want to try and push, but he is at the mid card. Just looking to see if there would be anyone to maybe partner him up with. Well, see, he is kind of he's technically not a heel, even though I would kind of envision him as a bit of a heel. But you know what? He does have a relatively interesting sort of babyface look about him as well. A little bit off topic, but one thing I do want to do is, well, we'll do it after the show. I am going to send Jack Pride down to, try and send him down to OWC, down to the developmental, just because his psychology is kind of stagnating a lot. As you can see, he's been 46 for a long time, 47 for the last 4 months, whereas his basics is now at 81. So he's got the basics to put on a really good match. The brawling and the technicals also kind of there as well. The only thing that's really letting him down is that psychology. If you can get that up to about 62 to 65, he'll be able to call like a 12-minute match, and that'll literally do wonders for Jack Pride's career. So I want to send him down. We might bring him back up every now and then for the odd appearance here and there, but I think some time in OWC would be really good for him. There was also some questions about maybe Perez going down as well, because he's also in a similar sort of boat. But I kind of see Perez being pretty useful, not in the short term, but I guess maybe a little bit longer term, when we potentially decide to either make a sort of a luchador stable, or we do something like that, because I don't want to say he could be the leader of a stable like that, because he probably couldn't, seeing as he can't actually, speak on the microphone. But he can definitely go in the ring. It is literally also just the psychology there. Anyway, we need to do something, I guess, for Tavon Blake Jr. probably needs a storyline as well for himself. He is also really, really good. Maybe he could just take on Hawking. That could be a relatively interesting storyline for him as well. Let's have a look. Let's go into the storylines again. Let's call this one Tavon's in-ring debut. So obviously his first match will be against Hawking on this first show, and then they'll have a rematch at the pay-per-view as well. Just another match on there, just to get Tavon a win, because the Jackson Protection Agency, of course, our newest stable in the series, they're going to have a pretty big role to play going forward, especially going into next month. I don't want to give too much away, but I do have kind of plans for their involvement next month. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it there. But this will be a nice little storyline, because obviously Hawking's very good. So these two going at it should be at least a decent match at the pay-per-view. Now, I did kind of also say that I wanted... I mean, we've got a lot of storylines right now. That's 8 storylines. No, that's 9. You know what? I think we'll leave it there, actually. We'll leave it at 9, because too many matches, too many storylines, too many angles. We've only got a 2-hour show. Let's not go crazy. Okay, so we need to kick things off with a. Well, we need a decent main event. So we're gonna have 3 separate qualifying matches on this show. So 3 singles matches where the winners of each of these matches. Sorry, 2. We're gonna have 2. I don't know why I said 3. 2. We're gonna have 2 qualifying matches go into a triple threat match at the pay-per-view to take on Logan Wolfsbane for the unified world title. Finally got my words out. So I think the main event should probably be Mobstar. But the real question is, who is Mobstar going to verse? We sort of need somebody that's up there. Maybe a Maddie Faith. That would be a pretty good main event. I think just maybe 13 minutes. And we'll script it as well. Because obviously Maddie Faith, you know, he's not exactly the best in the world when it comes to... I wonder if should I put Logan on commentary? Well, you know what I'll do? I'll put him at ringside. That's a good idea. So Logan at ringside. That'll advance the storyline and also make the match that little bit better, I think. The second match is obviously going to be... This is really putting it out there, but let's go Davis Wayne Newton, because obviously he's still 87 popularity. Still a very high sort of competitor. He also got 100 experience as well, which is pretty crazy. But let's go Davis taking on Jackpot Jordan. And this is going to be a pretty big upset. But at the same time, it's going to be a very, very cool match. And you know what we might do, actually? So who was Davis's storyline opponent? I seem to have forgotten already. Stone. Okay. So obviously Stone lost at the last pay-per-view. But he wants to get a little bit of revenge and wants to, you know, as I said, prove himself. So let's do a tainted victory. Outside interference. Actually, yeah, we'll do it. We'll do outside interference finish onto him by David Stone. Just double check this main event. I think we'll go Monton for that one as well. I want the 2 matches to be really, really good. Okay. I want to have a tag team match for our tag team champions. So let's just have them take on Job Squad. I think that'll be alright. So just a nice little, just a 10-minute match. Nothing too serious. And of course, we'll give the victory to Young and Wasted. But there'll be an angle following this one as well. And of course, non-title match. Let me do that angle right now. And it's going to be Tavon joined by Cooper and Turk. They're going to be fighting, all 3 of them. And then let's have Brett and Taylor. Do I want them on selling? It's kind of the interesting question, I guess. Let me do that for a second. I want to just double check their selling ability. 72 is not too bad, actually. Yeah, I mean, their selling's really good. I didn't think their selling would actually be that good. That's very strange. But you know what? I'm actually... well, he's not a... I was going to say, Tavon's not actually in the storyline there, but... He's going to get involved. So where are we? Tag titles. So that'll be a good angle. Obviously, post-match attack. By the Jackson Protection Agency. Is that the name? Yeah, it is. The Jackson Protection Agency. And of course, Tavon is the muscle in the group. Okay, what else do we need to do? All right, we need an angle. We need another angle. So I'm going to go for Doc Hammond. And Doc is going to announce that the, what should we say? Let's say that the title has yet to arrive in the company. Let's do in kayfabe terms, it's gone missing. Gone missing. It arrived, but it's gone missing. And unfortunately, Doc has no real answers for Amber Allen, who would be visibly upset. But what Doc does is he also announces that there will be a crowning match for the women's title. However, next week they need to have a triple threat to determine the second person in that singles match. Of course, the first being Amber Allen. She already won at the pay-per-view, so therefore she automatically goes into the match. And of course, the other competitors are going to be Laura Flame, Deborah Young, and Erin Gray. So they're not going to be rated. We'll go some success there for both of them, for Hammond and for Amber. But that's basically gonna wrap the other women up, I think, for this week, because I'm kind of feeling like we got a pretty, stacked show, if you will. We also need another angle. I know I'm doing angles when I should probably fill the show out with matches, but these angles are kind of in my head at the moment, so I want to sort of run with them a little bit. The next one's going to be Logan, Jackpot, and Mobstar. And that's going to finish off the show. I think we're going to go all three on entertainment as well, just because obviously Jackpot has very good entertainment skills. If you noticed, I've actually made some of those other angles on the show, obviously 4 minutes for the post-match attack, but that women's angle is only going to be 6 minutes. I think I'm going to keep just the I guess, obviously the Unified World title is going to be 8-minute promos or 8-minute angles, but if we have another sort of big storyline running with main eventers in it as well, such as Maddie Faith, such as Aldous Blackfire, we can also give them 8 minutes as well, is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, there's that one. That one's going to be pretty good. Hopefully no one sort of messes up off script. Otherwise, that could potentially drag that down a little bit. I might even actually give Maddie Faith an angle as well, which could be a little bit of a waste of time, but I'll just go that 6-minute time that I sort of said. So we'll do that. That'll go pre-main event. Now, Maddie Faith. Actually, you know what? That can actually beat onto Storm Spillane because their storyline's continuing. There we go. Let's have him off screen. And we will advance their storyline as well. Of course, new kid on the block. We want to give Maddie his win back, but it's going to come in a nice little fashion, shall we say? All right, so let's book the rest of the show. So far, so good. I think it's looking pretty decent from the outside. Anyway, storylines. I want to really try and focus on like the actual storyline stuff that we got going on at the moment. All right, so one thing we will do, and I'll explain this angle in a bit more detail. It's a pretty simple, pretty standard angle. We're going to have the Forces of Darkness have an angle together. And basically, this is where the sort of dissension is going to start, if you will. So I'm going to give them 8 minutes because I mean, I would say nearly all three of them are main event talent. Definitely two of them, although Darkstein has fallen off. He has fallen off recently. I mean, I've kind of been doing that because of his age. He is starting to get on a bit. And I kind of think that maybe starting to add in these different things, these different sort of weird scenarios could be into Forces of Darkness could be pretty beneficial. Anyway, I want Disciples of Darkness 3. They can just take on. Doesn't really matter who they take on. The Northern Lights is fine. Perfect, actually. just for 10 minutes as well. Have Mutant pick up the victory. I believe we can call this match, definitely. So we'll do that. Let's make this match the storytelling as well. Obviously, I've been booking a lot of Dave recently on the C vs 97. And it's a lot different. It's a lot different. So let me do that. Have the angle with the Forces of Darkness stable there as well. And then, of course, we still got like a decent amount of time left, actually. We've literally got 40 minutes left. With that being said, let's have... I don't know if I wanted to go straight into a... Let's maybe do this instead, actually. Let's have LA Star 1. This is going to be like a random sort of throwaway match, but... We're going to have Jack Jackson versus LA Star 1. He's going to get a clean victory. And it's going to be decisive as well. I think... Actually, you know what? We'll put the title on the line. I think it can actually go on the line in this one. LA Star 1, I guess. Maybe it'll... Let's do this. Let's have Jack Jackson with Tavon. He can be in another angle, because obviously he's not actually appearing in his debut match yet. Let's just have Jack Jackson issuing an open challenge to anyone that's brave enough. And I guess he'll obviously be with Tavon Blake. And then I guess we'll have LA Star 1 come out as well. So we'll do that. I don't think Tavon needs to speak or anything like that. I mean, he probably could. Let me check out Tavon for a second here. He might actually... I mean, he obviously doesn't have better entertainment stats, but I don't think he actually needs to speak in this angle. If that makes sense. He doesn't really need to speak. And I think I was going to change that to maybe a tainted win, but I think I'll leave it as clean, because I don't want Jackson to just be that sort of tainted win champion. I want him to be fairly dominant on his own as well. So obviously, Tavon's around. Should I add Tavon as his manager as well, potentially? Because he is the muscle of the group. So it would only make sense for Tavon to be at ringside for Jack's matches and stuff like that. So I think I'll do that. And I might even make Jack his manager as well. So Jack will come out during his matches, just as like backup. You know, a protection agency is probably they're gonna travel together, if you will. And of course, we've already got the Texas Express, and they all travel together. But obviously, they have each other in that tag team. Okay, so we've still got more time. We've got more time to do some more stuff. So what are our storylines doing? We haven't done anything for this one yet. I might give Kavanaugh a squash match. We've done an angle for that one. We've done involvement in that one. We haven't started this one yet. That's obviously starting on the next show, because that's going to be Tavon's debut. We haven't really done anything for this yet either, but that'll come next show as well. We could do a... I mean, let's do a squash match first of all for Kavanaugh, because Kavanaugh needs a win, basically. Let's have Perez. No, let's have Spencer Edmund. Spencer can take a loss. I know it's Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh actually has quite a decent amount of popularity, and it's not going to be a literal squash. We can call, and I guess I'll make it decisive. I don't really want to, but I will. That'll go there. We have 8 minutes left. I might give Kavanaugh the angle as well. Let's have Kavanaugh. Let's have both of them. They're both going to come out to open the show. So Kavanaugh's going to... Let's have Kavanaugh take over the show. So he opens the show and says he's not going anywhere until he gets a match at the pay-per-view. And then obviously High Flying Hawaiian's going to come out. High Flying accepts. There we go. I mean, it makes sense. Can't actually put a comma in there because I've run out of characters, but there we go. That'll be good. Give both of them a little bit of success as well, which, as you can tell, Kavanaugh kind of needs a bit of momentum. And that's a pretty perfect show. It's looking a lot more filled out than it normally does to an extent. We'll do just, I think, 2 pre-show matches. I think I want to go David Stone, Angry Gilmore, and Chip Martin, and they can take on... Don't know who they can take on, to be honest. We'll get Jack Pride in there because we're going to send him down, so it'll be his last sort of appearance on this show per se. We'll get Willie in there as well, and I guess we'll get a Sono, kind of the sunglasses team. And then David will pick up the victory, give him a win back after losing that pay-per-view match. Might even lower it down to 10. So Doc's being used, so we can easily use him as our road agent for the pre-show. Next one, we're going to go with, I guess, the non-TV debut, but we're going to have Tavon go in a match with the Texas Express. And they can just take on Los Hermanos. I think that'll do us. I might do a women's match as well, now that I think about it. I should probably, we should probably get the women in there at some stage. Pre-show. There we go. Yeah, that looks fine. And then, like I said, let's get some women up. So let's go Bernice, because Bernice needs quite a bit of work. And then I guess we'll go Penny Dreadful as well. So just going to do a little tag team match here. And we're going to have Laura teaming up with Deborah, which is interesting, to take on Bernice. And who was the other one? Penny? There we go. It's probably going to have to be 8 minutes long. There we go. And Doc Hammond automatically on the women's match. You'd love to see it. We'll give Laura the victory because obviously got the most popularity in the match. We're gonna put her in the match anyway. I really couldn't care less. Anyway, there we go. All right, let's run the first show. We start off with a 54 rated women's tag team match where we have Laura Flame and Deborah Young defeating Bernice Bonnar and Penny Dreadful in 8:26 when Laura Flame pinned Bernice with a flame fire kick. Obviously, Bernice Bonnar visibly tiring towards the end of the match. Yeah, 15 in ring for her, and a 21, which is actually pretty good for Penny. Alrighty, we then go into a 67 rated pre-show 6-man tag. Of course, we've got 2 of them on the pre-show tonight. Got the Jackson Protection Agency. I guess kind of the first match they're ever together in, or at least this sort of combination. And they defeat Brothers for Life in 11:37 when Tavon Blake Jr. submitted Louise Frost with a figure 4 leg lock. Interesting finisher there from him. And yeah, Cooper Christie head and shoulders above everybody else in the match with a 75. Impressive from him. And Tavon with a 61. It's not terrible, but it's average. And then the final pre-show match, we get another 67 to the other 6-man tag. We have Next Gen defeating Primetime Jack Pride, Willie LaRue, and Yuta Sono in 10:02. David Stone submitted Willie LaRue. They stone hold. Obviously, David head and shoulders above everybody else. And then we had Chip Martin dragging everybody else down, being the weak link. Also, Angry Gilmore, seemingly off his game as well. Okay, so we open the show with it's not a great angle, to be fair. It's only a 63. And as you can see, Kavanaugh struggled when going off script. And of course, he still has morale issues as well. So that should be noted, because it's going to drag his angles and his matches down with a penalty. But we have Kavanaugh opening the show, and basically he says he's not going anywhere until he gets a match at the pay-per-view. I left out match there, but he's not going anywhere until he gets a pay-per-view, gets a match at the pay-per-view. And then obviously we have High Flying Hawaiian come out, answer the call, challenging him to a match at the pay-per-view. And the match is going to be booked in. And we can move on with the show. And of course, Kavanaugh is in the opening contest as well. Okay, we get a 70 rated match out of Kavanaugh, which I think is that's relatively good. Because I was kind of expecting maybe a 60. So we have Mighty Kavanaugh defeating Spencer Edmund in 10:04 by pinfall with a sit-out spinebuster. Spencer actually beating Kavanaugh's in-ring performance. That's a tough one. That's a strange one as well, because Spencer only has 52 popularity. Kavanaugh has, I think, 68 in Ontario. So very strange one. Very strange indeed. Anyway, it's still a really good match. Obviously, quite a bit higher than both of their in-ring performances. All right, we then go into our 80 rated angle for the Jack Jackson. I spelled issuing wrong, I think. Pretty sure I did. But he issues an open challenge to anyone that is brave enough to sort of step up to the Jackson Protection Agency. And of course, he's alongside Devon Blake Jr., the big muscle. And we have LA Star number 1 coming out, answering the call, and essentially accepting that Canadian title match. As you can see, Jack Jackson clearly enjoying having the freedom to go off script there as well. The match does that's about what I kind of expected out of these two. I had a feeling that this was going to be good. We get a 76. And of course, we have Jack Jackson defeating LA Star number 1 in 12:22 by pinfall with an implant DDT. We have Jackson making defense number 1 of the CWC Canadian title. Just a really good match, to be fair. Tavon did good work at ringside, so that's a positive as well. Good to see they don't have any sort of negative chemistry when it comes to the management side of things. We've got a 61 from Jack, 71 there from LA Star 1. Excuse me. All in all, I think that's a pretty good match, I think. That's real good. Only 4 points away from an 80. And that's from our sort of mid-card talent as well. Alrighty, we then go into a 100 rated angle. All three of these guys rated on entertainment off script as well. We have Aldous doing a masterful job improvising interactions. Mutant also doing a masterful job improvising interactions with the crowd. And then we had Ozzy Darkstein enjoying having the freedom to go off script, and he performed well. It's 100, and that's actually going to do really good things for both Mutant and Darkstein's sort of bounce back from his low popularity. But basically, the premise behind this angle is, as Aldous Blackfriar won the last One Ring to Rule Them All tournament, he's now like ineligible or illegible, whatever the word is. He can't compete in it, basically. So if you win the previous year, you can't compete the next year, basically, because you already had your title shot. Ipso facto, that's kind of what I'm going with, and I think it's a good little strategy to make sure we have a new winner each and every year, allowing new people to get that opportunity to potentially become the unified world champion. So I think it's a good idea. But basically, the storyline behind this is, obviously, we're trying to bring fractures into this stable. And the clear fracture would be Aldous. Now, obviously, he would have been in the tournament, but he won last year. So therefore, his spot now falls to another member of Forces of Darkness. And he's undecided whether it should be Mutant or whether it should be Aussie Darkstein. He can't make his mind up, and over the course of the next few weeks, he's going to, team up with both of them and hopefully, see them in singles matches as well. Make a determination, and he's going to, make his decision at the pay-per-view as to who will be the Forces of Darkness representative in one ring to rule them all. So there we go. Interesting stuff, and it's a really good angle to actually sort of convey this new storyline that's developing. Obviously, it's actually kind of a recycled storyline in some way, because obviously some of you might kind of know where this is going a little bit. But yeah, it's between Darkstein and potentially Aldous once again. All right, we then go into our actual Disciples of Darkness tag team match. We get a 78 for the team of Aldous and Mutant. And of course, they defeat the Northern Lights in 9:35 when Mutant pinned Riddick Jordan with the Tina Turner. And of course, Aldous head and shoulders above everybody else in the match. But good to see the Northern Lights both getting relatively similar in-ring performances there as well. Yeah, 78's pretty good. Alrighty, we then go into the women's angle. Of course, we have Doc Hammond. And of course, we also get a... Oh. Now that's funny. I didn't realize what I chose for Doc there. But I guess I put it on fighting. I might have accidentally scrolled down with my mouse wheel. I think that might be what happened when I tried to click on Amber's name. It's pretty funny because I guess Doc in this angle would actually be... Well, technically he might actually be fighting with Amber Allen. Not physically fighting, but like for argument's sake, they'd be... Obviously, Doc would be very sort of defensive and on the... I guess on the back foot where Amber Allen's really sort of going in on him, saying, where's my title? I won the Fatal 4-Way match. He kind of says, well, I don't know where the title is. Somebody's taken it. It's not where it was left at the pay-per-view. It's kind of out of my hands. I mean, we're going to look for it. Hopefully, it'll turn up at the next pay-per-view. Time will tell. Obviously, Amber's pissed, but he also announces that we'll have a triple threat next week to determine the second competitor that will fight it out for the women's title at the pay-per-view. Of course, it'll be between Laura Flame, Deborah Young, and Erin Gray, the other three members that Amber actually beat. Yeah, 67, obviously it would have been a lot better had I put it on Doc, or Doc on Entertainment, I guess. Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate, but it's still pretty good considering who's in it. All right, we then go into tag team action, getting a 71 rating out of this one. We have the current tag team champions, Young and Wasted. They defeat Job Squad in 10:03 when Brett Kyle pinned Robin Newman with a shooting star press. And of course, Robin Newman being the weak link in this one, as we would tend to expect. Yeah, again, it's kind of just a bit of a throwaway match, just leading into this next angle. This angle didn't do great either, to be fair. It is a fighting angle, should be said. They tend not to actually rate very well, which I find pretty unfortunate, but at the same time, I mean, there's also nothing you can really do about it. I mean, I could just maybe convey the same thing with entertainment instead of fighting. But it's a backstage sort of a post-match attack. Of course, we have Tavon Blake Jr., Cuba Christie, Kirk Treneman, the Jackson Protection Agency, coming down and, of course, attacking both members of Young and Wasted. We also had Kirk Treneman underperforming, which is great, and obviously aiding to that low 58. All right, we then go into our first of 2 qualifying matches for the triple threat at the pay-per-view in the main event. The first of which we get a 76 for. Actually, quite a bit lower than I expected. And lower rated than maybe the game would suggest as well. The 76 there, but we had an 89 in ring and an 83 in ring there as well. Anyway, we have Jackpot Jordan defeating the GOAT, Davis Wayne Newton, in 12-14 by pinfall with a cash-in following interference from David Stone. David Stone costing Davis Wayne Newton the match and, of course, a potential unified world title shot. And we all know how much Davis wants to get his hands back on the unified world title. Alrighty, we then go into our pre-main event angle. We get a 99 out of Matty Faith here. And of course, he talks about the pay-per-view loss, of course, referring to Storm Spillane there, and basically says that, you know, it was an off night. It was an off night for Matty Faith, and Storm Spillane was on his game, really took it to Matty. He almost seems a little bit maybe like Jay White from New Japan, in a sense. You know, he's always been that cocky heel that really, I guess, never really blamed himself at all for anything that ever happened, you know, throughout his career so far. But if you saw Jay White's recent post-match sort of interview after Wrestle Kingdom, obviously losing in that effort, he probably cut one of the best promos I think I might have ever seen. Like, the emotion that he spilled throughout that angle, that promo in that interview. Boy, oh boy, that was pretty good. But I'm thinking that's what Matty Faith might be, not to that extent, but I think a little bit part of Matty Faith is he's kind of maybe blamed himself for that one. Obviously, you know, he basically just says Storm got one over on him because he wasn't, I don't know, in the right sort of state of mind, if you will. And of course, I mean, Matty Faith kind of looks a little bit like Jay White in that picture as well, apart from the headband. But yeah, let's go with that. And it's a 99, so it's pretty damn good. And the main event is also pretty damn good. The fact that these shorter matches are absolutely destroying the 20-minute matches kind of makes me a little bit frustrated, because we could have been putting on these matches for quite some time. We get a 96 rated main event where we have Mobstar defeating Matty Faith in 13:09 by pinfall with a flattener DDT. Got an 87 in ring from Mobstar and an 87 there from Matty Faith as well. Top stuff. I mean, there's no other way of saying it really, but just real good match. I knew it would be good, but I thought maybe a 90 would be about as good as it would maybe hit. So to get a 96 for that one, absolutely incredible. And the post-match angle gets a 95, which is not as good as I kind of expected it to maybe be a 100. But at the same time, I thought it would be Jackpot letting the angle down. But as you can see, it was actually Logan and Mobstar. They both failed without their scripts. Again, I probably should have scripted this one, considering it's a 3-person angle. Usually, any more than 2, you should probably be scripting when it comes to multiple men rated on entertainment. But there we go. Still a 95, even though they did sort of mess up without their scripts. And you know what? It's really going to advance that storyline as well. That's got to be a good show. We get a 93. Not as highly rated as I thought it might be. But then again, we didn't exactly... You know, we had some good matches, but we also had some pretty average angles in there as well. So this 58's very bad. 67's average. The 63, slightly below average as well from Kavanaugh and High Flying. All in all, 93, we're going to take that all day long. I think that might even be tied for our best show ever. Potentially. And we didn't gain any popularity in Ontario because we're currently at 89. Yes, 89 popularity in the Ontario region. That in itself is just really, really crazy to me. And yeah, we're number one in the articles there as well. Looks like we beat out quite a lot, to be fair. Let's have a look at CWA. We actually beat CWA by 6 points. But then again, I guess they kind of messed up their main event. They went for the women's title match between Claire and Ariel Breaks. When they obviously would have been much better suited in going for the other women's match on the show. Who's Suzette? She is a dojo graduate who is not very good, but it was wow. She was in a 92 rated match. Obviously, the other competitors definitely carrying her. She got a 32 to Brooks 100, Lauren's 89, and Nadia's 81. The women of CWA. Anyway, even the semi-main event would have been pretty good there to chuck up as the main event. Anyway, let's have a look what we've got here. Jimmy Chipolata. Jimmy Chipolata not looking too bad. Really not looking too bad there. Only 25 years old as well. I'm fairly tempted to bring him in. And I think I might go for him under his real name, James Chester. And I think James Chester and Spencer Edmund could potentially be a really, really good tag team. They both kind of look very similar. They're also a very similar age as well, to be fair. He's now without a contract, so I'm just going to go in, I think. Let's just sign him up. I mean, why not at this point? There we go, 15,000. Yep, Jimmy Chipolata coming in as James Chester. Also got Demeltzer Wade's negotiations going a little bit awry. So they're up to 67,000. We're going to have to go up to 70. One of two offers. We don't want one of two. We want one of one. And we want it to be our offer. So again, we're just going to go up by 1,000 per time. What we can do, we can just add her straight into our announce booth as well. And we won't actually lose any of the experience that we've built up in our current announce team. So that'll be really good. Because obviously we had a lot of problems with that in the past. And I don't think it'll change, luckily. So, again, I'm wasting a lot of time, but you know what? We kind of need to save money with these signings as well. Should be said. Anyway, I think it'll be nice to have another woman in the announce booth as well, considering we actually have, you know, a women's division in our company. And of course, Demeltzer Wade, a former women's, you know, wrestler. I'm assuming she was also wrestling for, and I don't want to assume things, but I'm assuming she was wrestling for CWA at some stage. This is getting really tiring. Let's go by twos now. Let's go 87. Okay, there we go. 87,000. That's an extra 20,000 onto what she was being offered by CWA. Let me actually have a look at that real quick. Let's see if she did actually wrestle. Yeah, I mean, it said here, Wade has gone on to join CWA for what will surely be her final big run. So yeah, she was obviously, yeah, working there back in 2018. She started, so yeah, pretty cool. Although she did, yeah, I mean, she retired in August of 2020, so that was really quick after the after we sort of started here as well. I mean, the money's looking pretty good at this point. I might actually buy. Did I buy the dojo already? Don't know if I did. I guess I didn't. Let's call these ones Women of the Coalition. Women of the Coalition will essentially be our sort of second dojo. Uh, all female. Again, we'll go fluid with it. Let's go state of the art. I might just go state of the art, I think. Which is the highest level you can actually start off with. And being in Ontario is probably the smart thing to do again. Alright, there's another mil gone. But you know what? It's a mil worse, well spent, I guess. Hopefully we'll be able to fill out the developmental a little bit better there as well. Probably, I mean, we'll save it for the next episode that we do after the next pay-per-view episode, and we'll have a look at the dojo in a bit more detail. Yes, now, yeah, okay, there we go. We have 2. That's pretty cool to see. But we do, of course, have to wait. Why does this one have a logo and this one doesn't? Interesting. I guess maybe that came in an update or something. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? Who cares? Let's advance 2 days at a time, because we don't want to go anything more than that at the moment, because we have a lot of negotiations going on, shall we say? All right, let's see if Tommy's going to get back to us. Of course, he is working for SWF at the moment as well. So, realistically, we're not going to get him probably until next episode, maybe. Should probably give him a match at the pay-per-view. Make his debut at the pay-per-view itself. Be really cool. But there is Jimmy Chipolata. We are indeed still waiting on those 2. Hopefully, yeah, no more negotiations. Nice. So it looks like they're both going to be coming in. Let's do another 2 days. Yeah, Jimmy Chipolata, he's going to be changed to, what was it, James Chester, was it? I hope it was James Chester. But I think I want to have him and Spencer be maybe like a... I don't want to go with like a rich gimmick, because obviously we've kind of got Wall Street Enterprises for that. But maybe they could be... I don't know, maybe like an upper class, sort of snobbish type tag team. I mean, they don't necessarily have to be. Maybe if you guys have an idea, drop it in a comment down below. That could be what we go for. Also, looking at Jay Silver there, he looked pretty good. But here is the moment you have all been waiting for. $280,000 per month plus an extra $56,000 per pay-per-view. He is going to pass the torch though. So that's a big thing. And I mean, at the end of the day, he's going to be the best road agent in the game. So, yeah, we got a $280,000 road agent. We have the best one in the game. All right, so we're still awaiting a response from DeMeltzer, but Tommy won't be here for another 21 days. Unfortunate. But we're actually the fact that he's only getting 20% of his own merchandise, I feel like we kind of ripped him off a little bit there. Because we're going to essentially book him to the moon when he comes in. It's going to be his last run, essentially. Big last run. And we're going to give Tommy the respect that he definitely deserves. And I mean, if Tommy versus Logan can't get a 100 rating, once we give Tommy a little bit of popularity to the Unified World title, if that match does not get a 100, I've failed. I have failed as a YouTuber, and I've failed with TEW. So hopefully those two guys won't let me down. But even saying that, potentially Logan might not even be the Unified World Champion. So we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, CWA going back in. And it is being seriously considered. They only upped it by $1,000. Now, let me guess. I'm going to up mine by 1,000. Okay. I was going to say, I'll probably up it 1,000 and she won't want to take it. But she actually did. Saves me complaining. All right, let's get into the last show of the episode here. Of course, we've got a few things to book in because we kind of said that we're going to do a few things, but we've got some protege mentor notes here. We got Gilmore passing on tips on the microphone to Bowden Snoop. Ooh, David Stone. Once again, Gilmore passing on tips on the microphone, this time to David Stone, which is massive. And we got Doc passing on tips on using psychology, his protege, Chip Martin. So Chip he definitely needs the psychology at the moment. Anyway, we're going to Hamilton for this show. And we need what is our main event going to be for this one? I'm thinking it might not be the best main event in the world. But we're going to go like this. We're going to go the Moneymakers, and they're going to take on Mobstar and... Where is he? Where is he? Papa Swole. There he is. Mobstar and Papa Swole, of course, they've got a pretty tight bond with each other. Let me just have a look at Jackpot. Dude's up to 87 popularity now from that win over Davis. Davis did lose a little bit. He's down to 85. But I'm kind of thinking with his storyline against David Stone, he's probably going to gain those 2 points back. And remember, he is only capped at 87. So he's literally only 2 points below his maximum level. Perfectly fine. Alrighty, that's the main event. Again, I'm just going to stick with the 13-minute mark because that seemed to work pretty well. Anyway, Mobstar is going to beat Stevie P. Nice and easy. Of course, Stevie P in time decline, so kind of good to, I guess, get him into a shorter match. Definitely fits a little bit better. And I think we'll leave that. That'll end the show, I think. I think that's a good way to end the show. And I guess before the match itself, we might just go for Mobstar and Jackpot together. So just the two of them, 8 minutes. Success for both of them. So no Logan there. But of course, Logan will be on the show. We'll give him, I think I want to give him a singles match. Don't know who against, though. And we need to change Jimmy Chipolata. So I'll have to go in and do that real quick. Let's have Logan taken on maybe Jack Pride. We'll send Jack Pride off with a big loss, shall we? Because I forgot to send him back down. So we'll give him one last TV match, and he's going down sort of regardless. Even if he doesn't want to, essentially. Then I'll have Logan cut his promo onto Mobstar and Jackpot as well. But they'll be off screen because they're essentially not going to be involved. And it's obviously Logan, so we're going to give him 8 minutes as well. And, I mean, that should be 2 pretty good matches and 2 really good angles, I would assume. They will be split up by matches, though. Of course, we've got the women's triple threat, so let's book that in now as well. So we need Deborah, we need Laura, and we need Erin. Perfect. We'll give them 12 because they kind of deserve it. And our winner, I mean, it pretty much has to be Laura Flame at this point. And, you know, more will be revealed. I think we can also call it as well, can't we? There we go. Should be a good match. And we might... Let me have a look at Amber. I want to see if Amber can actually color. She can't. You know what? I'm going to put her on it anyway. Because I want a woman on the announce team. So there we go. I kind of like that. And again, it kind of plays into the whole storyline as well. So that'll go there. We might even actually go for an angle between Amber and Laura. We'll have let's have Amber confront Laura about her believing that Laura stole the title and currently has the title in her possession. Because that's their whole storyline at the moment. And that'll kind of be our first feud there as well. Because the women obviously not going to really have a big part to play in One Ring to rule them all. Although maybe one year we might even just do a women's only One Ring to rule them all. Could be kind of cool. But obviously we need our women in the developmental to kind of grow up a bit and get a lot better. Or we sign all of CWA's best talent. Either or. I'm fine with both. Anyway, what else are we doing? We need a match. I'm trying to think. We're going to go Hocking and Tavon, so we'll get that one booked in here. That's kind of an easy one. And I think it deserves 12 as well. That can go there, that's fine. And then I think we'll go a 6-man tag as well, just to get the rest of Jackson Protection Agency on the show. So let's have Young and Wasted taking on the Texas Express. We'll have Jack Jackson on their team, obviously. And then we'll have... I guess we'll go with Graham Gorman, because he will be getting his rematch at the pay-per-view. That's kind of what we're more or less building to. So there we go. Have Jack get the victory. Taylor can lose for us. We'll make that storytelling as well. Looks pretty... Actually, you know what? We'll go Tainted. We'll go... You know, Jack, he can get the Tainted victory if he wants to. Kind of up to him. And he does what he wants. And he's got the backup and the sort of allies to essentially do whatever he wants as well. Alright, so that looks good. I guess we'll go an angle for Jack, Cooper, and for Turk. With these two not rated on anything. Because they really don't need to be. And let's actually go Graham here as well, off screen. Just so we can advance that storyline. And Monson, Red Agent. That one as well. Alright, what else we got? We got Kavanaugh. I mean, we could, I guess, have Kavanaugh maybe come in and cost Highflying a match. That could be a pretty interesting way of doing things. I guess the real question is, who would he lose to? Maybe Maddie Faith to give Maddie another victory. That's a good idea. Let's have Maddie Faith taking on Highflying. Obviously, Highflying still trying to, you know, make his way to the top. But going to get seriously derailed here with an outside interference finish onto Highflying by Kavanaugh. And I think we'll just start the show off with Maddie Faith in there as well. And I guess it can be another sort of angle for him, where he's just, you know, visibly upset at what happened on that last show as well. You know, the fact that he lost to Mobstar in the main event, essentially, you know, losing himself out of another title shot potentially. Well, definitely, really. That looks pretty good though. I'm relatively happy with that. I mean, we could maybe just throw in Tavon in here as well. You know what? It's fine. It's fine. I kind of want Jack to have more popularity than Tavon at the moment anyway, so it's kind of fine. Anyway, the pre-show, we'll just probably do, again, 2 really quick 6-man tags. Let's go for Hernandez. I guess he can team up with, yeah, the Golden Goats, because we haven't used them. And I guess they can verse the LA Stars and Shooting Star Perez. Kind of our sort of luchador team at the moment. Yeah, we can use Kavanaugh because he's actually on the show for once. So there we go. Coming in pretty clutch there. Anyway, I want Hernandez to get the victory in this one. Although Davis would probably make more sense. But we haven't really used Hernandez recently, so we'll do him instead. I'll do a women's match here real quick as well. Let's have Air Raid take on Selena. Nice and easy pre-show match. Air Raid getting the victory. Probably should be Selena, but you know what? Air Raid, I think, has about 10 more popularity compared to Selena at the moment. Of course, Selena coming from Japan, so make of that what you will. And then we'll go, like I said, one more 6-man tag. Let's have the Puerto Rican boys teaming up with literally no one is standing out to me. I mean, it really doesn't matter. Go Marvel Malloy. Should maybe do Kavanaugh, but we'll go Marvel. We'll go Marvel. And they're going to take on Robin DeLay. This other team's kind of just going to be a little bit thrown together. Giant Brody. And I guess Princeton can go in there as well. Just a nice, easy match. And I just want to give Brody a victory. I want to try and build Brody's sort of momentum back because he's kind of lost that match when he was the Canadian champion to Logan Wolfsbane. And we haven't really done anything since then. So there we go. That's the show. Let's run it. All right, well, we start off with a 75 rated 6-man tag on the pre-show. We got Robin DeLay, Giant Brody, and Princeton Price. Pretty big heel team over here. Defeating Marvin Malloy and the Puerto Rican boys in 12-24. When Giant Brody pinned Marvin Malloy with a single-handed chokeslam. It's a good match. It really is actually a pretty good match. We've got the show stealer gimmick there from Marvel. Getting an initial rating of very good. So it's a positive. And no pros or cons there as well, which I would say is another positive. Anyway, we also have this gimmick change here that we set up, I think, in the last episode for Brody. Okay, that's really good. We get Brody using his Angry Giant gimmick, getting an initial rating of great. So this is kind of his sort of heel turn, if you will. So a great rating is pretty decent. Now, it's an extremely marketable gimmick, so he's going to sell more merchandise than usual. Gives him a small microphone boost during angles. Does unfortunately give him a small penalty to his star quality during both matches and angles as well. We get the comedy bouts as well. But we also get a bonus if he is booked to look dominant. So we should maybe try and get him in a few more squash matches now as well. Yeah, happy with that. It's a pretty positive gimmick change. And kind of might set him back, you know, going in the upswing Whereas, like I said, I want to use him next month, and I want him to be in the One Ring to Rule Them All tournament. All right, we then go into a 58 rated women's match where we have Air Raid Siren defeating Selena Svelte in 12:28 by pinfall with a top rope leg drop. 51 for Air Raid, 52 for Selena, and a 58. So it's pretty well booked. Women doing a decent job. And then our final pre-show 6-man tag, we get a 78 rating for this one. We have the team of Mainstream Hernandez and the Golden Goats defeating Shooting Star Perez and the LA Stars in 12:15 when Hernandez pinned Shooting Star Perez with an apparition number 14. And yeah, Perez obviously the weak link, and yeah, Davis only with an 83. Seems a little bit lower than he's been doing recently, so make of that what you will. All right, we then go into a 100 rated angle to start off the show again. It's kind of Maddie Faith, a bit more of a somber sort of angle from him. Very similar to the one that he did on the pre-main event of the last show. This one, he even sort of reiterates the fact that, he just lost another main event match, this time costing him another opportunity for the Unified World title, getting his opportunity to join that triple threat match. And he kind of says that, he doesn't really know where his career is heading, for lack of a better term. He kind of feels lost. He feels lost in the coalition at the moment. He gets a big break, though. We get a 72 rated singles match here where we do have Maddie Faith defeating High Flying Hawaiian in 12:27 by pinfall with a leap of faith. Did I not do interference in this one? I felt like I did interference. Obviously, you can see the actual storyline did advance. But it wasn't the finish like I wanted it to be. And the match is actually slightly lower, but I guess that was we'd add the double storyline penalty in there as well. Anyway, we move into a 79 rated angle from Jack Jackson, of course, the Jackson Protection Agency. Of course, they're all teaming up tonight. These three are teaming up tonight, and of course, Savon is in a separate match, debut match on TV as well. And Jack basically just talking about Graham Gorman and how he has his little Canadian title rematch. No way he's going to lose. He's got his boys, the Texas Express by his side. They're dominant. There's no way they're going to lose. Texas Express are going to become the new tag team champions. And the gold is going to flow the Protection Agency. And they're going to prove just that at the pay-per-view. 79, really good. Hopefully a little bit more popularity there for Jackson. All right, we go into the match, the 6-man tag, and it actually gets a 79 as well. So that's a really, really high-level match. Very good stuff. Considering Turk's in there as well, Turk's got really low popularity. That's that win, because it's a win for his team as well. As we have the Jackson Protection Agency defeating Graham Gorman and Young and Wasted in 12:14 when Jack Jackson pinned Taylor Norton with an implant DDT after Devon Blake Jr. interfered in the match. I didn't even set that up. That's, of course, just because he is actually the manager. So that's hilarious, because we did do a tainted victory there as well. So Tavon, literally, this one was tainted, and Tavon actually got involved without me actually booking it. So that's real cool. I like that. That's kind of the perfect finish, really. Jack only with a 60 in-ring, though. Not great. Cooper still sort of outshining him a little bit. All right, we then go straight into Tavon's match because he was already essentially out at ringside. And this one does much, much better than the pre-show match that he was involved in. We get a 78 rated match here. We have Tavon Blake Jr. defeating Matt Hocking in 11:47 by pinfall with a pile driver. He's got some decent finishing maneuvers. He's got the pile driver and he's got the figure 4 leg lock as well. I like his moveset. Basic, but you wouldn't kind of expect it from a big muscular heavyweight like himself. And of course he puts away Matt Hocking the very talented but largely forgotten Matt Hocking. Got a 63 in ring there for Tavon and a 71 for Hocking. And of course, these two will rematch. So looking forward to maybe getting better than a 78. Possibly. Alrighty, we then go into a 98 rated angle, this one for Logan Wolfsbane. And of course, he cuts his promo onto his opponents at the pay-per-view, Mobstar and Jackpot Jordan. Basically saying that the odds are sort of stacked against him. 33% chance of winning, blah, blah, blah. Basically says, it doesn't matter. You can put 10 other guys in the ring with me, 30 other guys in the ring. Doesn't matter. It's my unified world title. I'm walking away with it at the end of the day. And I'm going to finish the year 2024 as the unified world champion. And of course, he has a match. The final match we're going to see of Primetime Jack Pride on the main roster for a little while. We're going to bring him up every now and then. But it's actually an 81. It's not too bad. It's definitely a good carry out of Logan. He had to do probably a lot of carrying in this one. We do have Logan Wolfsbane defeating Primetime Jack Pride in 10-14 by submission with a Boston Crab. Got a 93 for Logan, 46 there for Jack. Not terrible, but there's a reason why he's going down. I think that might actually be the same psychology he has. He's either got 46 or 47, I can't remember, but very, very close to that number. Alrighty, we then go into a 68 rated angle. Of course, like I said, we have Amber Allen essentially accusing Laura Flame of being the one that stole the women's title backstage at the last pay-per-view. Essentially preventing Amber from being crowned as the first ever women's champion by winning that fatal four-way. Laura kind of just looks at her with a smirk on her face, shakes her head, and just, walks away. Doesn't even say anything, really. Just walks away. Unfortunately, Amber was poor trying to improvise dialogue. Unfortunate, but I don't think it shouldn't really happen too much with her. So we'll move on to the triple threat women's match, where we get a 74. It's pretty good. I'm happy with that. We have Laura Flame defeating Deborah Young and Erin Gray in 11:55 when Laura pinned Erin with a Flame Fire kick. Laura Flame carrying the match as well with a 74 in-ring. Impressive. Erin actually outperformed Deborah Young. I know she has morale issues, but very interesting to see. And of course, Amber was weak at the announcing booth, but we wanted her in there just to give a little bit more flavor to the whole Laura Flame versus Amber Allen sort of storyline we've got going on at the moment. All right, we then go into the pre-main event angle where we have the confrontation between Jackpot Jordan and Mobstar. We get a 100 rating. Of course, both of them rated on entertainment, both of them without a script to follow. As you can see, Mobstar improvising well. Jackpot, interesting, but he didn't fail, or he didn't, no pro or con without improvisation, without a script to follow. So he's been neutral both times. Just a little interesting sort of tidbit there. Kind of strange, but it's not a negative, so we'll take it. And a 100, potentially just going to raise his popularity even higher. So I want to add him as the leader if I haven't done so already. I think I might have. Did I do it on the last episode? I think I might have actually done it on the last episode. Anyway, main event. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. A 91 rated tag team match. I can honestly say I was expecting an 80. I thought having Papa Swole and Stephen Parker in this match was going to destroy the rating. I am pleasantly surprised by that 91. Wow. And the funny thing is, Jackpot is the one that carried the match. Anyway, we've got Mobstar and Papa Swole defeating the Moneymakers in 12:48 when Mobstar pinned Stevie P with a flattener DDT. Wow, a 90 in-ring from Jackpot Jordan. That's pretty special right there. And yeah, Mobstar only getting an 86 for himself as well. make of that what you will, but I want to check out Jackpot's popularity. I know I usually want to save that for the the third episode of the month, but he's already at 87. We kind of already checked that after the last show. Who knows where it's going to be right now? Anyway, we're up to we got a 91 overall rating for that show, the final TV show of this episode. Unfortunately, only raising our popularity in 54 regions this time. So I'm assuming that's both Quebec and Ontario. And then every other region. Obviously getting an increase. Yeah, very unpredicted, that main event. Like I said, I expected maybe like an 81, to be honest. 80 or an 81. I thought having Papa Swollen there, he's only got 60 popularity. I think Stevie P has maybe about 65. I don't know, it was just a little bit strange to me. But there we go. There is a lot of shows on this day. Wow. We once again beat CWA. And this time they actually had their best match in the main event. With the Mob defeating Jack the Colt and Kamikaze. We're making a dent. We are making a dent in CWA. And we for sure are making a dent. There is Demeltzer Wade coming in. Another 20 days and she'll be our newest color commentator in the booth. No way. Yes. Yes. Lauren Easter. Alright, this episode's gone on for too long, so I'm going to do that next episode. I need to remember. I'm going to write a note on one of the napkins I have next to me. And we're going to remember to do that. TV rating, 4.37. Pretty sure that's up as well. Just under 3.3 million viewers overall. Lauren Easter. Are you kidding me? Oh, Lauren Easter versus Amber Allen. That is a dream match right there. Obviously, it's already been done in CWA, but you know what? We're going to redo it. I mean, even Lauren Easter versus Laura Flame, that's again another CWA rematch, but you know what? I was about to delete everything there. We don't want to delete, we want to leave. Leave for next episode. It's even there, so I have to check it. Okay, first things first, I want to quickly check Jackpot. Who lost popularity, which is terrible. Really bad. Damn it. He lost 2 points. I'm a little bit pissed off about that. I should have probably kept him strong. My mistake. My mistake. Anyway, we won't worry about it too much. He's still at 85, so he's in the blue. He's in the blue. It's okay. I'm going to give him a big match against somebody else as well. Whether it be Angry Gilmore or maybe Hernandez on the next show. Anyway, enough about next show. He's still doing really good. He was up 6 points from that first show. And he's still up 4 points. So, good stuff there. Anyway, 2 things I want to do real quick. We want to go to Jimmy Chipolata. I'm going to change his name to James Chester. It was James Chester, I was correct. Glad to see that. Do I want to go Chester? Yeah, we'll go Chester. I guess so, I don't know. Yeah, we'll save it as an alter ego. I don't know why, but we may as well. It's kind of just his like alter ego, you know, going under his real name in the coalition. So there we go. The next thing I wanted to check, we are indeed up to 77 in Saskatchewan, 71 there in Alberta. 6 points away, baby. 6 points away from big size. And of course, we also made another dojo this episode. What an episode. It's been a good one. 2 really solid main events. And some decent progress as well. Happy days. Anyways, guys, that's the end of the episode. Make sure you drop a like on the video. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, look out for the Dave live streams over on Twitch. The link to the Twitch channel to follow that is in the description down below. And of course, if you wanted to purchase TEW 2020, you can also do that with my affiliate link down in the, it'll be the first link in the description down below as well. And apart from that, guys, as always, take it easy and goodbye.